things going on with this monkey watch in the monkey news, which we've been covering, and it's been definitely put underneath the rug with all the symbolisms in movies and video games like Escape from Monkey Island. This is connected to the story. It's gonna get really, really strange. The story just gets stranger and stranger. But as you enter the room, please smash that like button and share the video out. We are joined with Paranoid. How are you doing today, my friend?
Yo, what up? It's Paranoid.
Yo, what up? It's Paranoid American and Donut. Yeah, I'm really excited to hear about this monkey stuff.
I mean, it goes a lot deeper, and I'm still pretty shocked that there's not a lot more people talking about it, even in the mainstream, because it's a pretty big story. And this is not just some rinky-dink lab. This is one of the major monkey breeding research facilities in the entire country. And in fact, you had just shown that Escape from Monkey Island. There is an actual Monkey Island. Did you know about this?
Tell us about this.
It's actually called Morgan Island. It's off the coast of South Carolina, which is the same state that this monkey facility lab's in. But Morgan Island is also referred to as Monkey Island, and Monkey Island has a colony somewhere of like 3,500 rhesus monkeys. And this Alpha Genesis, they secured a federal contract to run this colony. So they actually own Monkey Island.
Interesting. In South Carolina, huh?
South Carolina, the same state where this Alpha Genesis facility is at. But the facility, too, I was doing a lot more research on it today. This is not the first time that this has happened with this particular facility. They had a monkey escape in 2014. 26 got out. They had one in 2016 when 19 of them got out. They had one in 2018 after dozens, so over 20 of them got out. There's a long history of monkeys escaping from their on-land facility. I don't know if there's anything to escape from Monkey Island because it's literally an island where they don't have anywhere else to really get off to.
So there's a game called Monkey Island.
A
And
great game, by the way. One of the best games.
You like this game a lot?
Yeah, growing up, this was a LucasArts game, and they have a mini game inside of it for throwing insults. Like you actually play the game by gaining information about people and then using it to insult them. This is one of the coolest mini games. I think this came out in the 90s.
And it's very right there. Skull and Bones, Pirates of the Caribbean, going into a lot of these secret societies and secret society symbolism all throughout the game as well.
There's another deeper cultural link to this too. The protagonist, I'm trying to remember what his name, of Monkey Island, that guy with the blonde hair, he's been used as an example of the types of things that a protagonist can go through, but for like different genders. It's kind of like a deep story, but there's a paradox based on his name, and it basically states that if you had swapped the main lead of this game out for a female, that everything that the girl does would be problematic, but if you swapped it back in with the dude, then it's all sort of normal. And it's actually been used a lot of the time to kind of delineate whether something is controversial or not. Anyways, it's a totally different tangent, but Monkey Island is something that's impacted culture, even if you've never heard it before, even if you don't even play video games. This has inspired so many different types of media and just media criticism that have come out ever since for the last 3 decades now.
Is he spanking his monkey right there? He's choking the chicken?
He's choking a chicken. Yeah, absolutely.
Which is another term for spanking the monkey? Or am I just being sick? So this is
Guybrush Ulysses Threepwood. I think that's his name.
So this is a very, very deep story. We're going to be diving deep on Paranoid's Fine. He dives deep on a lot of these topics that are absolutely mind blowing over on his Twitter and his website. I got his links down below. Make sure to go subscribe to Paranoid American. You were telling me over the phone how these monkeys they were connected to some experiments of the reflection in the mirror, and I was like, man, there's some viral videos of like apes in front of the mirror, and I guess that was part of some of these experiments. What are some of the experiments that were going on in Alpha Genesis Lab?
Let me explain the connection here. This is the self-recognition test that you're talking about. This was developed sometime in the 1980s and very, very often cited in lots of other animal research. The reason why this comes up is because the CEO of Alpha Genesis is a guy named Gregory Westergaard, and he got into the position that he's at because he's been studying psychology of primates since the mid 90s. Uh, the thread here is that all of the claims put out so far by Alpha Genesis and the CEO and whatever PR they sort of have as an outreach, now that they're kind of in the spotlight a little bit, is that they simply breed monkeys. They don't really do any experimentation or research on their own. They're just breeding the monkeys at a big breeding facility, and everyone else does the research. Well, I started a thread today on X. I wasn't even expecting it to be a thread. At first, it was just because I went to Alpha Genesis' official corporate website and saw that they had like almost no followers. They hadn't had any posts since 2020. And the posts they did have were all talking about commending them for their role in this event that happened between 2019 and 2020. That they were sort of a monumental player in that entire space, but it's somewhat vague as to exactly what they did. The CEO would say, oh, that we were just breeding. But there's absolutely evidence that this is not just a breeding facility. And in fact, beyond this thing that they were doing in 2019, 2020, that's not even the headliner. The headliner is that this goes way deeper into studying the psyche of even humans. So, 1994, Gregory Westgard, CEO of Alpha Genesis, in August, he puts out this research paper called Theories of Mind and Self-Recognition. And this is in the American Psychologist, issue 49, volume 8, in case anyone's paying attention or wants to look it up, page 761. But I can summarize the entire thing. And he refers to this previous scientist's work in 93 that was kind of arguing that self-conception and mental state were like recent evolutions in the primates. And this is even includes humans, because one of the acronyms that you'll even see from the whistleblower report that we went over yesterday are called NHPs, or non-human primates. So they actually delineate, but that technically, based on these types of research, this could apply to humans as well. So the research shows that humans, chimpanzees, and orangutans all show evidence of self-recognition. They're talking about like children first starting to grow up. And self-recognition, meaning if you put a mirror in front of them, then they'll actually recognize it as themselves. And there's a whole bunch of different checkpoints to determine whether or not they can recognize themselves and they have this self-recognition. And what's interesting is that not all chimpanzees can do it. Not all orangutans can do it. There's some species of primates, they can't do it at all, period, even if you try and train them. So this leads Gregory Westergaard, CEO of Alpha Genesis, to start putting together these theories as to how recently this happened. One of the things that they note is that only 20% of chimpanzees pass what they call this mark test. And this mark test is whether or not they can, one of the examples, they'll put a colored dot, right? Like somewhere where they couldn't see it on themselves. But if you look in a mirror, you could see it. So like imagine like a blue dot under his armpit or something. You can't see it yourself, but if you walk up to a mirror and then look at it, if once they recognize, oh, that monkey is me and that blue dot is on my armpit, then they'll like go to rub it off. Or so I'm just giving a basic example. Interesting. This also ties into pigeon research. Pigeons are another one of the animals that can have this self-recognition in mirrors, and that's exactly how they do it. They'll put a little blue dot somewhere on their body, and once the pigeon recognizes that it's looking at itself, it will notice the blue dot, and then using the blue dot kind of coordinate how to clean it off or whatever they made it out of. There's like an incentive for it. The way they do it with chimpanzees is they'll hide food. They'll hide food in a way that the chimpanzee can't see it on its own, but with the use of a mirror, it'll be able to tell that there's food in a certain area. And once they figure out how to do this, and this also leads into Gregory Westgard's other research, which had to do with which hand primates were using to use tools, even what nipple that they wanted to go to on their mother. So this one is interesting too. So that first study, August 1994, and the theories of mind and self-recognition, it's kind of deep psychological research. And this is where Westgard got his entire start in this space. Fast forward a decade, and he's got something called the left versus right nipple preference study. And they develop an actual mathematical formula to determine which nipple each young monkey actually wants to use. It's called the LBI, and this is actually a fairly standard formula you can use in any sort of preference. But the exact formula is that the LBI, or the lateralized behavior index, was basically the amount of times a monkey wanted the right nipple minus the left divided by the right plus the left. And this would give you a numerical value on what their preference would be. And they plot this over time. And the one thing that stood out in this research was that whatever nipple they originally started with, any subsequent monkeys that came behind them would always prefer the other nipple. So there was one study that was showing that they did have a preference, but also overwhelmingly, whatever that preference was would go out the window if the monkey before preferred it, then go to the next one. I'm only mentioning this one because it's a fairly specific and niche sort of research that they went into. He had a whole bunch of others that used the same methodology in figuring out what tools they wanted to use, what hands they wanted to use. Then there's a third one that was really fascinating to me. It's from August 2007, and it's called the serotonergic influence on life history outcomes in free-ranging monkeys. And to summarize what they did is they analyzed the amount of serotonin that were inside of these monkeys at various stages of their life. And they were testing monkeys that appeared to be antisocial. They had tested monkeys that integrated well with other colonies. And then they were also testing sort of the alpha male monkeys. And what they found is that earlier on in life, the monkeys that are antisocial have these lower amounts of dopamine or evidence of them basically processing the dopamine. And that these ones tend to not integrate well. And they also tend to die off earlier for various reasons, some medical reasons, some like social reasons. But the ones that survive, that are analyzed like this, these outcasts earlier on, if they survive it into older age, they more often than not turn into an alpha monkey. So there was this interesting sort of line of thinking that if you go with the flow, you kind of have an average lifespan, you have an average social ability. You're not necessarily an outcast, you're not necessarily a mover and a shaker within this monkey society. But the only ones that rose up to be leaders, the actual alphas, were always outcast earlier on. And you can imagine that combined with this self-recognition, combined with the fact that they call them non-human primates, all of this research would also affect human research. So it's kind of like anything that they find in these studies, in my mind at least, there's almost like an asterisk that's like, yes, we're studying on monkeys, but these findings are telling us about ourselves and humans. So why does any of this matter? Well, because it's not just a monkey breeding facility. This is one of the largest monkey breeding facilities in the United States, and it's founded by someone that has a deep interest going back 3 decades plus of analyzing monkey behavior and applying it to how maybe humans can look through some of this. Now, I got one other sync here, and this one is even more fascinating because we were just talking about Mike Tyson and Jake Paul and the pigeons, and pigeons and symbolism maybe sound like two things that we were just throwing out there, but there's an entire other study that was backed by B.F. Skinner, and this is from a paper called On Pigeons and People, but the B.F. Skinner project was called the Columban Simulation Project. And this Columban Simulation Project was trying to see the exact thought process of pigeons, how smart they could be. The self-recognition, like I mentioned, was part of this. But it gets really, really incredible. There was this one specific test out of many where they were teaching pigeons how to encode information, put that information into a symbol, communicate the symbol to another pigeon, and then that pigeon could then decode the information back into its raw form. That sounds really abstract. So I have a very specific experiment in which they did. They had two pigeons called Jack and Jill. And what Jack and Jill were doing, yeah, this is actually part of it. So what Jack and Jill were doing is that they would show Jack a certain color, the male pigeon. The male pigeon would identify what that color was that it was shown, and it would go and pick an object out that was that color. So in this particular experiment, there was a red key. So they showed Jack just a color red. Here's a red circle, or just, a flash of red light. Jack would say, okay, red. It would go and peck the key. On another end of the cage, where the pigeon doesn't get to see this initial red external stimulus, they just see Jack pecking this key shape, like a silhouette of a key. So Jack sees red, encodes red into a symbol of a key, pecks the key. Jill sees this key move and then looks over to the end of its cage and then looks for that key shape, which happens to be red, and pecks it. So the whole sequence is basically, you can take the color red. This is the original information. Very simple amount of information, but information is red. Jack turns red into a key shape. It communicates that key shape to another pigeon, and then that pigeon takes the key shape and translates it back into a color. This is absolutely mind-blowing when I was originally reading this, because yeah, sure, they can train these pigeons to pick out certain things, but what they're really doing on a deeper level is they are literally encoding specific information that the pigeon can then convert into something different, and then back into that original information again. And ironically, I just did a movie breakdown on my Occult Disney series on the movie Valiant from 2006, and the whole entire premise of Valiant is the role that homing pigeons made and messenger pigeons made in World War II, World War I. In fact, we used them as recent as the Iraq War, I believe, or sometime in like 2006. The military is still using pigeons to encode information and communicate it. How do we get here from monkeys? Well, this is the exact same study that the CEO, Gregory Westergaard, did, that theories of mind and self-recognition that he was applying to chimpanzees and other primates. It's based on this experiment that we're looking at here from B.F. Skinner.
Now, do you think the title of this lab, Alpha, is that they're trying to produce some sort of alpha male or alpha? Like, do you think that was one of the main things? We see the mind control MK Ultra dolphin experiences with John C. Lilly that we've done the deep dives on, but this primate research, you bringing up the alpha, and they titled their their company Alpha Genesis. What do you think it is that they're trying to accomplish?
I think you're right on the money. Trying to figure out how to breed alpha, fill in the blank. In this case, maybe it's monkeys, maybe it's non-human primates, maybe it's human primates. But another thing to back that up is that, again, this is a government-funded lab. They've gotten over $111 million in the last couple decades, I believe. And typically the government, like the federal government, doesn't always invest that amount of money into random research unless it has a military application. At least that's my own bias, but I've kind of learned over the years that the government essentially amounts to state-sanctioned violence. They are the only part of the entire country of society that we get to participate in that are willing to engage and are allowed to engage in violence. There's domestic, where the police and the FBI and DEA can handle it, but then the international, where it's basically the military and the CIA. So if we've invested all of this military funding into a government run lab called Alpha Genesis that's doing research into how to produce alpha or how to recognize these alpha males. Yeah, absolutely. They have to be thinking about making super soldiers, at least in some of these dark rooms in the military, because otherwise the funding never would have come.
Right. And just that the story is so underreported is a huge red flag. And in the news today, speaking about alpha, like creating alphas, creating beta males, this seems to be a very, very Google trended topic this year and last year after the lockdowns, after 2022. We seem to forget that every single government agreed to lock the world down. They all shook hands on that deal, and there was no issues. There was no problems. Right after 2022, though, on 222 at 222, the war stuff started to pop off, and now we're in this World War III, and the thing that goes trending and the popular thing is to be an alpha male. That's just what everyone wants. And here is a Elon Musk trending video today on YouTube. So it is something that the Google algorithms want you to see, just like the Google algorithms wanted you to see Andrew Tate, for example, the most Googled man in the world. Google is DARPA. That's Eric Schmidt. Coincidentally enough, Eric Schmidt's latest book with Henry Kissinger is called Genesis. So, Alpha Genesis. I don't know if there's a connection there. My schizo mind's going crazy. But
Well,
my
there's a precedent. A precedent has been set because I don't know if you've ever heard of the concept of a humanzi before.
no.
So a humanzi is a hybrid or a theoretical hybrid between a human and a chimpanzee, or more specifically, a human and any type of primate. And this was originally seriously tried to create by the Soviets in the 1920s by this guy named Ilya Ivanovich Ivanov. And his task was to figure out how to breed humans with, I believe, orangutans, among others, with the main intent being to create a super powered human, someone that has like the raw strength and abilities of an actual primate, but would have some more of the mental acuity and complexity of a human, so that maybe it wouldn't have to do math problems, but you could send it out into battle and say, those are the good guys, those are the bad guy, like create these super soldiers. Allegedly, that never took off. It's very horrific, and to look into exactly what they were doing to try and create these hybrids, it was very old-fashioned the way that they were going about it. That was the 1920s. China also had a program in the 1960s that was something very similar, where they were trying to create what you would still refer to as humanzis, which is creating these super alpha male soldiers. So there is absolutely precedent for the government or the military in particular to want to use monkey research in order to figure out how to create a more alpha male. And you mentioned another dynamic here. Why is no one else talking about this? Or if they are talking about it, it's just like, oh, bunch of monkeys got out. Isn't this crazy? But the whistleblower report has gone largely unreported, and all of the background of this facility has gone unreported. Well, I have one of the reasons that this might be happening, and that's that the representative for South Carolina is a lady named Nancy Mace, and she's the one that is supposed to be heading part of this congressional investigation into Alpha Genesis Labs. And I don't have any reason to assume that she's not following through with this, but Nancy Mace, if you just search for Nancy Mace online, all the headlines are about this bathroom bill that she passed recently, like the last day or two. And it's essentially who's allowed to use the bathroom in certain areas. But obviously, this is part of the culture war, and the culture war story gets way more attention than anything about like this human or even like animal safety sort of event that we're still waiting to be resolved. And not only are we still waiting for it to be resolved, but all of the locals claim that this happens all the time. These monkeys get out constantly. The difference is that the scale and the length of time that this one has happened for, it makes it stand out. So that this is the only reason that we're hearing it nationally. But yeah, here's Nancy Mace, and if you try and search for Nancy Mace, this is pretty much all you're going to find. It's going to be all about her being this culture warrior. So if the
So it's
question is
kind of
why is no one
getting
else talking
covered
about
up.
it, this is hogging up all the oxygen in the room.
Wow. And not only that, but the viral video is that Culture War Jaguar commercial that was just released, or that you were talking
Right,
about.
yeah, and just like instead of seeing monkeys, we're seeing culture war content. Well, now instead of seeing a jaguar, we're seeing culture war content.
Okay, so the Jaguar, please forgive me. Was the Jaguars connected in the studies at all? Like a
No, I
Jaguar?
don't believe they've done self-recognition tests on jaguars. This was just another example of a animal being obscured in favor of this culture war. Because like a bunch of people have observed, if you watch this commercial start to end, you never see a car. You never even see a Jaguar. And in fact, they've changed their logo. So now even the company logo no longer has the Jaguar in it. That's the only real connection here, other than this is also clearly a news story that is obscuring and taking up oxygen from all the other news stories that could be taking up space in our brains. But because this is culture war related, it somehow gets this weird priority in like the public psyche right now.
Wow. Wow. So for people who don't know, this is a car commercial. It's a car called Jaguar. Used to be a fancy car. They don't even show it. And I think what Paranoid's getting at is that this is a huge story, underreported on, and the person who's looking into it is, if you look up her name, this story of this Alpha Genesis lab will be popping up. Another thing, and look, everybody, we just crossed through 1,000 people tuning in of this underreported story. Please share this video out. Smash that like button. Paranoid American and I are doing these live streams every single night,
Every
promoting
night.
night, promoting the Illuminati comic. Make sure to grab your Illuminati comic. Click the link down below. We crashed through yesterday's goal, and today's goal is I want to get this past 420. We're at 418 backers. I want to get it past 420. We got a deep dive into the Illuminati through this chit track comic, plus a ton of amazing beach towels, fun stuff, and all that. So please go support us. Get your Illuminati comic. Help us pass this tonight. We'll shout your name out, and we get to feed Chan treats, my cat, who for some reason is also looking into the mirror. Uh, I think he might be part of the study.
I think
I
he's
don't know.
passing the test. It looks like he's got the self-recognition down pat.
You talking to me? You talking to me? In the mirror. You know when you get mad and you look in the mirror and then you fight yourself in the mirror? What's that about? Is that like me when I do that? Am I just doing this?
We don't have a lot of other instances when you can practice making eye contact with someone.
I make eye contact. I'm the best at making eye contact. And I hate that Americans are scared of people. So they don't look people in the eyes. So it's like really depressing for someone who likes connecting with people. Chan, he's really good at eye contact. Um, how about Florida? Is Florida? I mean, America, we're kind of tough, you know. So, but I don't think it's a toughness why
No,
people
I
aren't
think it's a
looking.
confidence thing too. Usually people will break eye contact, and if you develop that habit as a kid in school, it's probably something that's really hard to break out of over time. But I really do think it's a matter of confidence, and um maintaining eye contact is almost seen as like a dominant behavior now, although really it's just sort of the social default. Although we've been straying from that because the more people are perpetually online and the less they make eye contact, it almost feels foreign. That direct human connection, it feels like something other than the normal because the normal has completely shifted.
Absolutely, it's absolutely man.
So talking about monkeys.
So World War III, military experiments with dolphins, seals, Starlink. Starlink captures mammals. They also do experiments on monkeys with the Neuralink that you will soon be hooked up to. We're going to be bringing on a ton of guests this week and next week promoting this Illuminati comic. Just please go click the link down below. And Paranoid, if anyone does get us past, we just need 2 more people to get us past the 420.
Yeah, who wants to be number 420?
Let me
That's
know.
a magical number.
Let me know so I could go feed my kitty cat. But this is what's trending, and they're wearing its banana shirt, right? This is what's trending right now. If you go to YouTube, for example, and you like go look at what's trending, it's this
BANANAS.
I actually saw that live when I was like 14 or something at the
That's
Hard Rock.
bananas.
Yeah. The Hiroshuku girls and Gwen Stefani. It was like a MTV spring break thing I went to when I was like 14, which is kind of weird because I went with my girlfriend and she was 14 and like they're filming MTV stuff. That's kind of weird, right? I saw Snoop Dogg there as well, but it was Vegas. Vegas is a crazy place. So this is what's trending. This is war stuff, right? This is Starlink. People think that this is for space travel, so they can go get the bacteria in Europa and the octopus aliens. That's what they think that this is, when it's not. It's a ICBM. It's an intercontinental ballistic missile. And I'm not saying that this is real footage. This is obviously fake footage. But these are flexes. Look, right there's the Knights Templar Iron Cross. You see it?
Illuminati confirmed.
Illuminati. Well, it's got 33 engines too underneath it. So I wouldn't doubt it. But this is flex. We're in World War III right now. Russia is pissed. Then this is what they want people to see. This is what's trending on YouTube. You think anyone is actually watching these videos? Like they're watching people who watch stuff. They're not watching like news reports, but they're forcing this so they see it. Hopefully I'm explaining this well. So YouTube, the subconscious mind is so powerful in marketing that YouTube will put a trending video there, like right here, it says breaking right there. Even if I don't watch the video, somewhere in my subconscious mind, I see this. So with YouTube having trending war stuff happening right now, it is going into the subconscious mind, even though people aren't going to be watching that or caring about that because it doesn't affect them. People only care about themselves, you know what I mean? So what is trending would be like right here is like the makeup stuff. I don't know how trending that is, but this is how you can see what they want you to see through the Google algorithms. It's Starship launch. So we're in World War III right now with what's going on. And this is what they're showing. This is the show America's enemies, what we're capable of. But nobody even knows that.
You were talking about how you see the little trending videos on the sidebars, and even if you don't click on it, it's in your mind. Well, that especially you see how like you're hovering over and it gives you some movement on the side. This is actually a well-known trick for hunters, that when hunters are waiting for something to pop up, usually you don't focus directly in front of you. You'll kind of let your eyes like unfocus a little bit, and what you're doing is you're paying attention to your peripheral vision, because we've evolved for our eyes to recognize movement in the periphery more so than whatever you're staring at directly. So there's something about hacking the human brain to almost give priority to the things that you're not looking directly at. Now, I don't know if it would apply exactly to reading text, but it would absolutely snatch your attention away from even the thing that you are currently focused on. Just a little thumbnail doing a slight animation or movement, and a lot of websites will do this. Well, they'll have a button in like the bottom right corner, and it'll shake or it'll move around every once in a while. And this is hacking that exact same premise that hunters are leveraging.
That is, are you a hunter?
Not anymore. I just do competition, like uh, 3 item competitions now. I don't want to say the G word because I don't know how YouTube doesn't like the G word. But yeah, I do competition.
Oh, I smell what you're stepping in. Uh,
Nice.
so like right now we're in war, and look what they're showing us. They're showing us this, which is an ICBM, even though they're not going to tell you it is. That's what they're pretty much just showcasing. They're showing you football, which is a warfare sport, right? You got the two teams battling against each other, to the point where you get hooligans and rioting and everything. You got a cartoon about warfare going off. You got this video game Stalker, which is about warfare, which this is what Google's trending violence. This is what Americans love. America and the world.
Well, it's one of our main exports, and especially if you combine that with entertainment and video games, that kind of is America's biggest export right now. Is a combination of military, infantry, military arms, and entertainment that is also pretty much based on military.
Well, these video games are the future of war. The people who can play these video games at excellent level, this is what be controlling the robots, but the AI will probably be better than human, maybe, who knows. But also we are moving. We got all these celebrities like Ellen DeGeneres moving because of the Trump derangement syndrome, or maybe there's another reason. We got aliens, right? Here's another one, Stalker. So you can just kind of go through this. You got Skibbity, I'll be playing shows.
You got this gibbity.
I'll
You
be
got that
playing.
riz.
I'll be playing shows in Ohio. I am not Skibbity. I be getting up to them close proximity. Black, black. You know, you know what I'm saying? Uh, what did I? And then you got the Jaguar, right? And this is what people like get their rocks off to. So you got a little mixture of that, and then you got the Theosophist, and then Shane's back. This is funny. Shane is the Disney asset who puts out videos like that we're putting out, I guess, in a sense, like uh conspiracy videos. As you can see, he's got the Illuminati eye and whatnot. But he's connected to Disney. And here's Ariana Grande, the Theosophist. We're going to cover this with the one-on-one podcast coming up on Monday. I'm pretty sure we're going to be doing a huge breakdown. And look, just some more war stuff in this. So hopefully I got my point across that this is where we at right now. I'm trying to.
I talked to someone today in an interview that'll come out in a couple of weeks on the Paranoid American podcast, available here on YouTube and anywhere you listen to podcasts. But they actually brought up this brand new military research that I had never heard about until I talked to him today. And it kind of goes in line with a lot of the things that you're usually talking about. The what is it, the sympathetic nervous system, or like the complete reset using these psychedelics. And again, this blew my mind, but apparently the military is now experimenting with giving new recruits psychedelics to help them integrate into this new shocking sort of society, becoming part of the military. And what's weird is that the military doesn't have the best track record with psychedelics. In fact, they used to use it to cause trauma intentionally, and then sometime in the 2000s, early 2010s, the military starts experimenting with psychedelics in order to transition people that have trauma from war, to alleviate some of the PTSD or allow them to get more insight into their PTSD. But now the military is literally giving it to new recruits because the new recruits that are finding it hard to integrate into this shocking new culture, they're away from their friends and family for the first time because most recruits are 18 to early 20s essentially, first time they've been around or away from their families in a long time. And there's other studies. I don't know if you've ever seen the movie or the book The Men Who Stare at Goats, and I think it taps into like Operation Phoenix. Maybe it wasn't Phoenix. It's one of these operations where they were essentially taking insight from yogis and from the New Age movement and from hippie culture and even from Star Wars and trying to use this for military purposes. And the way that this was kind of described to me is that the same feeling that people get of that everyone loves me and we are all one, and if you were to take like Molly or if you were to do a psychedelic for the first time, that same feeling of being part of something greater that typically would be associated with becoming a pacifist. Well, what the military can do is reroute that love, that feeling of we are all one, but apply the love not to all of humankind, but to your commanding officer, to your country, to your unit. So now people's very first experiment into these altered states will immediately be channeled into, and this is how much you love your commanding officer, which could potentially be a huge motivator to get people to integrate into this military culture faster than ever. So there's like all roads seem to be pointing to military enlistment in the near future.
Well, they got to do the bloodbath ritual. I mean, they got to get us out of debt. We're in so much debt, like
Well,
how are
shout
we
out to
gonna,
Michael Sarion too. I like his take on it. That the reason that generals have the 4 stars is because taking one of them out in a military conflict is paying the highest respect you can to the star gods. So though like the generals are sacrifices to the star gods because all war on Earth is basically sympathetic magic to a bigger war going in the skies. I think I'm somewhat paraphrasing Michael Sarion on that.
there's some stellar cults going down. And here's the Concord prison experiment. This is what everybody has been going through, whoever's been taking the drugs being promoted by the mainstream influencers. You're going to be taking these because you got to become a good citizen for the United Nations, right? A lot of people don't like my channel if because they find out I'm Jewish, right? And I just think it's kind of funny
Wait,
how,
what? You're a
yeah,
what?
I just think it's kind of funny how the whole world was locked down, right? And it was totally run big time, a lot of this by the United Nations. And then once they opened it up and then they gave us AI and then the psilocybin mushroom microdosing and all that, because we were all prisoners worldwide. Now it's just the same scapegoat to blame Jewish people for every problem. Uh, as a Jewish guy, that's what it looks like for me. But I understand that I'm a minority, so that won't be a popular take on things. But it's my take, and I just want to be, I want to be myself and authentic and real. Even though I lose a lot of subscribers from that.
Well, you'll gain even more from being authentic and genuine in the long run. So whatever. Someone wants to leave over that, and let them.
The number one thing in recovery is honesty.
Are you telling the truth right now?
It's the number, like, yeah. So, like, the Nile is not a river in Egypt. Like, you got to admit there's a problem, just the step in recovery process. So, I just think that that's everybody going through this autonomic nervous system thing, plus them pinning all the problems. And this is being pushed by Piers Morgan, right? This is being pushed by Kanye West. This is being pushed by the mainstream. This is
Oh, dude,
mainstream.
this goes even beyond mainstream. I also found out today that Janet Yellen, who was Secretary of the
Yeah, Janet.
Treasury,
Yeah.
and that she was the chair of the Federal Reserve for 4 years. She was elected to the Federal Reserve. She did magic mushrooms when she went to China, which it was as like an older person. Now, I've the true like the full story here is that I believe it was like a culinary thing. She went and had some meal, and in the meal that they prepared for her had psilocybe mushrooms in it. However, when you cook them over like 110 degrees or something, the psychedelic component breaks down and it's no longer active. But she absolutely ate psilocybe mushrooms while she was in China, which I think is just another example of look, if Nana can do, if great great grandma can take mushrooms, then surely we can handle a little bit of microdosing.
Well, it's and like I'm not. This is it, bro. This is what I'm trying to get at. Is why is the mainstream? Why is big bankers, Gordon Wasson, Knights of Malta, Skull and Bones type connections, J.P. Morgan connections of banking, freaking Janet Yellen, the number one podcast, the
And
most
not as like a college student. Like this is her as like an old ass 70-year-old
this is
lady.
last year, Federal
Yeah, yeah, this
Reserve,
is last year.
and this is called nudging. So Cass Sunstein, I learned this from Jay Dyer. I think it was from Jay Dyer, but Cass Sunstein wrote a book called Nudge. And nudge is this psychological trick where they just keep nudging you. Yo, a mushroom here, a mushroom there, a mushroom here, an alien here, a Jew here. Like it's like
Whoa, who slipped the Jew in there?
it's mainstream. Like it's like mainstream. It's crazy. Oh, but also I think I'm under MK Ultra trauma, and because of the family history of trauma, and we're going to bring on some experts on this upcoming week or so. Everybody's traumatized and loosed, right? I've been calling it Loosh Festival. So Black Lives Matter, that was targeting Black people, right? On the news station for years. I don't know how many years it was, but you just saw white guy stomping on neck, right? You turn on the TV, you see that, you see the protest, right?
Technically, it was a kneel. Potato.
Well, I'm just saying what the TV's showing, and what the TV's showing Jewish people like myself is swastikas, and that it's the end, and we're screwed. Like, so it's activating trauma, ancestral type trauma, which it goes into the MK Ultra research. So we got to bring in some experts on it, but everybody's going to get loose to this, and these people that are like, no, let's blame this group or whatever. When they go after the Haitians, when they go after the different groups, everybody will be getting loosed. You know what I mean?
And these all seem like nudges. Even they're eating the dogs and cats and the geese in the public parks. That's a nudge. Like each one of these little things is just a tiny little nudge in one direction or the other.
Right. And I bring these things up, and people don't like it, but I think it's just something that's on my head. You know what I mean? But I'm all like, it affects everybody. I'm trying to like show that everybody's gonna, everybody gets loosed. Like everybody gets put through their MK Ultra. The whole world went through it. I even talked to Richard Grove about it, and I was asking him these questions. And the nudging of the psychedelics is crazy. And the guy who wrote this, he's on the Obama administration, this Marxist administration, that he put out this thing to dismantle 9/11 truth by putting out a bunch of weird, wild conspiracy theories to dismantle people questioning the mainstream narrative. And now it's interesting because the mainstream narrative, people that get segments on Fox News, people that work for Fox News, people that are the freaking mainstream, are now considered the alternative media, which is absolutely insane. How is the richest man on the planet alternative? media. I mean, I don't understand what's going on, and it's probably best I don't even talk about this because the crowd, you can't fight the crowd. Like it's best maybe just to just say, "Yo, look, guys, this book is red. That means
Well,
it's
that's only
satanic."
when you're communicating with the crowd. I guess that's the important line too, is that if you're going by the Gustave Le Bon definition of the crowd, then the crowd can only reason with very minimal logic. It can't manage comprehensive logic and any like complex tasks. But that's only if you're trying to communicate a message to it. If you're trying to manipulate it or analyze it or do anything other than talk to the crowd, then you can have this like higher order amount of thinking. It's just that you need to figure out how to distill whatever the key points are down to their smallest common denominator and feed that part to the crowd. And whoever can do that the best is the one that will win the crowd over. And it doesn't even mean you have to have the best amount of logic or the best argument. And just you were mentioning that this dissemination of all these different random theories that kind of dilute the real stories out there. This is another thing that we don't get taught anymore. I'll go on a full rant on this. I'll hold myself back, but that we no longer learn about the seven liberal arts, which is the trivium and the quadrivium, and the trivium being grammar, logic, rhetoric. And part of learning logic and rhetoric is understanding all these logical fallacies that have been around since forever. And the particular logical fallacy that you're referring to right now, I believe is called the Gish Gallop. And a Gish Gallop is whenever you're in any sort of intellectual conversation or debate and the other person just starts listing out fact after fact after fact. And even if the facts are technically accurate, what they're doing is they're just stacking the deck. They're just putting so much crap on your desk that you kind of just give up or you get lost in all of the chaos instead of focusing on the original point at hand. So this
That's like the
Gish Gallop is the new. This Gish Gallop is the news cycle. This is the 24/7 news cycle. It's just straight Gish Gallop.
Yeah, and the thing is like people will repeat the exact same thing. So people will say something, but it's just what they read in the comment that gets 10,000 likes. And then everyone just uses that same thing, you know, and then everyone is just like, no one thinks for themselves. Everyone is part of the crowd. It's just, oh
Well,
gosh.
that's the latter part. I don't know. I'll debate you on no one thinks for themselves. That's an absolute. So NLP would teach you to break that apart until you can figure out exceptions to the rule. But the statement that everyone is part of the crowd, like you can't avoid that. Like we're absolutely part of the crowd in all different ways. Even if that the crowd for us might just be the algorithm determining how long you're looking at a certain page. Like right now, your participation in the internet crowd is letting Wikipedia analytics know that Gish Gallop was of interest to you. So now this gets fed into some bigger algorithm that determines what advertisement you're probably going to see next when you open up like Instagram or whatever, right? But this is because you're being treated as just a member of this like big generic sort of amorphous crowd blob.
Right. And you know, I'm a little traumatized. So pardon me that I get all sensitive on the podcast. I'm
Well, this is also meant trauma also opens you up to suggestion. So that's the
oh
other reason. I mean, this goes down my other main favorite topic, which is just mind control, specifically trauma-based mind control. But the general
yeah.
premise, I guess, to oversimplify it to a fault, is that when someone's in a state of actual trauma, what happens is that your brain starts bypassing all other forms of reason and logic and it's just grasping. It's almost like somebody drowning at sea. It will grasp at anything you throw them, even to the point you might drown someone else that comes out to say that's why you're not supposed to like swim after someone drowning. You're supposed to save them a lifesaver because they are no longer capable of reason. They will hurt you and themselves just out of this sheer panic. And the exact same thing happens on a I guess like microcosmic level just within your own head, that when you're going through a trauma of any kind, as soon as you enter that trauma state, now any information provided to you will sink in a little bit deeper because at a subconscious level, your brain is grasping for anything it can get a hold of that even resembles logic. So that's when you can feed people with this faulty logic. So if you maintain everyone in some sort of a traumatic state or ease in and out of trauma, then you've got the highest chance of being able to instill thoughts and beliefs in them that didn't maybe start out that way.
So let me get this straight. Like I'm trying to, we get traumatized by the television set because we live in a different world today, right?
Well, everything. I mean, I will argue that you being born is traumatic. You're going from a warm environment with very little external stimulus, and now all of a sudden you're in this cold world, bright lights, loud noises, someone hits you. Like every single milestone, this is my own personal opinion, but every single milestone that we face growing up are all about traumas. Like the first fight you got into, you know, your first heartbreak, all of these things irrevocably change us. Like they shape us in ways that you can't necessarily go back for. Like if you're playing Sonic the Hedgehog or whatever, these are the checkpoints that you're running through. Like those are the trauma points.
Right. And then like the first time I don't know if you've been to Blockbuster Video, but
Of
like the
course.
first time I saw some of the scary like movie covers, that was very traumatizing and I didn't even watch the movie.
Right. And you can probably even remember like the smell of the place, like what the carpet looked like,
Yeah.
what movies were around it, maybe even the lighting, like how high the ceiling was. All of those things are just evidence that these are actual checkpoints. This is like a save game inside your brain. You go, and it kind of is. It's like when you're playing a video game and all of a sudden you hear the music get super intense and you see they're like giving you a whole bunch of items and power ups. You're like, oh, I'm about to get into something big here. That's your save point. That's your indicator to be like, you're about to go through something very traumatic. Let's go ahead and get an inventory of where we're at right now so we can compare and save. That's kind of the same thing that you go through in actual life through this idea of like trauma based programming. And this happens on the individual scale, but then it also happens on a larger scale, on a national scale, some national tragedy like 9/11, for example. That's a big shared trauma that everyone has, and that shapes behavior. Remember, everyone acts like all patriotic and we're all in this together. Like this new sentiment kind of waves over the country. Another thing, too, that I guess the boomer generation, like my parents, a common phrase I'd used to hear growing up was, I remember where I was when JFK got shot because that was a traumatic moment and everyone saved this checkpoint. They know exactly what they were wearing. They can almost hear the voice that announced it. Like all of these tiny little details. Car crashes are another example of that. When someone was about getting into a car wreck, during the process, time slows down and they have like an intricate memory of all these tiny little details that happen even though it's happening within fractions of a second. That's your mind desperately trying to set these checkpoints.
Well, right when that happened, and look, I thought Bitcoin was going to hit 96 and then correct, but it didn't. It keep on going up. That's crazy. But right when 9/11 happened, I can remember it, and I can remember how traumatized the world was as well, like freaking out. And I was traumatized because I've been there. I've been up in them towers when I was a little kid when I visited New York, and I remember seeing all the kids working there, and I was like, one day maybe I'll work here. Like you see little people, you know, you're a
Nope.
kid and you see the
Wrong.
grown. Yeah, yeah. But I went, and so it was wild. And then we got hit with these lockdowns, right? And these lockdowns was a traumatic event for a narcissistic cult because narcissism fears death and old age because they're powerless over that. It's inevitable. They don't like that. It's all about will to power and losing strength, getting old, and all that. That's the enemy of a narcissist. That is scary. That's why you see so many narcissists at gym cult. You know what I mean? Like that. That's what they're obsessed with. They're obsessed with uh, the mask, and it was everybody putting on a mask and all this, you know,
Well, and
and
the mirror, and that's
in
what
the mirror.
the mythology behind narcissism is the mirror.
Nurse, yeah, exactly. In the
This is
mirror
the, I guess,
reflection.
the
Yes.
extreme of self-recognition. Like, not only can you recognize yourself, but you are now obsessed with recognizing yourself.
Obsessed with it. And you see the gym people do it. And there's benefits to that because you can track your progress. But I'm talking about narcissism. You know what I mean? Narcissism, it goes to a next
Look
level.
at that good-looking monkey up in there.
Yeah. It's it's crazy. But like when the world was locked down, them kids that was traumatized through that, that's not our they weren't around for 9/11. They didn't see that happen. And these are like massive influencers influencing the cult of these little kids now, which is Generation Alpha. Generation Alpha has been programmed through this leftist schooling system, going to college, and that indoctrination of hating whitey, hating anything of like what the whole Marxist schooling system or whatever it is, hating the West, hating anything, hating everything. They're just crazy. They're just crazy institution. But they weren't there to see society.
Well,
But
their mass trauma was the 2019, 2020 stay home and do virtual
no,
schooling. That was their version of the JFK assassination or 9/11. There's always there seems to always be a generational version of this. It could basically be like JFK and then maybe Waco and then maybe OKC and then 9/11 and then 2019, 2020. So like every generation being roughly 20 to 30 years, 2 to 3 decades, there seems to be these huge worldwide or at least nationwide traumas. And like because you have to, it's like the autosave again in a video game. It's like it's set to autosave every 20 years.
man. This is what's going on. Me being Jewish, I swear. Like I'm such a small minority, So most people,
Two and a
but
half percent.
it's a it's traumatizing. Like seeing this shit for like years and years. Seeing Kanye, like everybody, all them little bar mitzvah boys probably loved Kanye. I never liked them. I like Juggalo. You know what I mean? Like I was listening to Insane Clown Posse and Twisted. Talk about like um all that crazy
Those ICPMs.
the ICPMs. But so we're just getting put through the Lush Festival as well. I think that what it is, and these are just thoughts I have. I think that they want to scare all the Jews to go to Israel. That's what I think the whole goal is over the next 100, 200 years or so. Like part of the whole like Knights Templar mission or something. That's what I think. I don't know. I'm still thinking about it. I think too much, maybe.
Don't go, dude. We need you here.
I love America, bro. I also love this song right here. I hang with the stiffs to the break of dawn. Always finding bodies when I'm all in the lawn. I love the national anthem, bro. Like nothing gets me like teared up than the national anthem. Nothing. I can't listen to like I don't when I listen to the national anthem, I'm like, damn, I love that.
I broke my national anthem programming. I'm
You
definitely
have?
pro America, but yeah, after hearing it so many damn times in the military for so many different reasons,
Bro, I should
yeah,
join the military then, huh? I would love that. I'd be like,
maybe
that's
I
my
don't know.
song.
It affects everybody a little bit differently, but to me, it's like that song that maybe you used to like, but you just heard it too many times, and now it's no longer a song. It just like is going through the motions.
Donut really milking the keeper. Oh man. Someone call me
You should
handsome.
you should put a little nipple on that keeper.
There is like a little the keeper is just to cover up the bald spot.
Is this different than a yarmulke?
No, it's the same thing, but like They
Same
didn't want.
word, or like, why would
It's
you say Kipa instead of Yamaka?
it's the same thing. I don't know. It's probably like some like Yiddish kind of thing. I have no idea. Uh, but it's God's always looking out for you. He's always watching over you. But ever since a kid, I never was into it. Like I'm just like I was just like I don't want to wear like anything. You know what I mean? Like I'm a juggalo. Like I wear my juggalo face paint and I carry my hatchet around. And if someone wants it, you know what I mean, they get smash, smash, you know. That was me as a kid. That was me as a kid. Even at my bar mitzvah, I made them play ICP.
That's when they knew you were headed for big things.
And they wouldn't. They were like, "We're not playing it." And I was like, "No, you playing it." Like, period.
I got kicked out of our school's AV program, which I probably would have been great in. It was like a little television, you know, the morning announcement type thing. And I was in charge of the music for one day only. I played KRS-One, Whoop Whoop, The Sound of the Police,
Whoop whoop!
and
That's
like,
the sound of the
yeah,
police.
I played that song
That's
on
the
the morning
sound of the
announcement,
beast.
and I was removed from the entire class after that. I wasn't allowed to go back to that class because teachers reported it as gang affiliated music, which is silly because
Oh,
KRS-One's like the opposite of being in a gang. But what are you gonna do?
well, like like Sam Tripoli, how he has that song in the beginning, uh, "Orders Control," like right before it starts. That's a Del the Funky Homo Sapien song.
Nice.
Yeah, I don't know if he knows that or not, but that's where they sampled it from. But who knows where Dell sampled it from?
Somebody know. There's a great site called Who Sampled actually that can usually get to the bottom of most samples.
Have you heard Dell the Funky Homo Sapien?
Yeah, hieroglyphics, and then also Deltron. He collaborated with Dan the
Gorilla.
Automator on a whole bunch of albums.
Yeah, so they got a song on.
Wasn't he in Gorillaz too? The Clint Eastwood song, I think, was Del the Funky Homo Sapien.
Yeah, I heard he's also Ice Cube's cousin. I don't know if that's true or not, but I wouldn't doubt it.
Yeah,
But like
this Deltron album is like a true masterpiece of its time, I think.
yeah, I like Mastermind. Uh yeah, life is a blast when you know what you're doing, but to know what you're doing for your life get ruined. Life is a thrill when your skill is developed. If you ain't got no skill or trade, then shut the hell up. I'm dropping things
Shut
like
up.
that's the best lyrics ever. That's like super empowering because it's like, yo, you better go learn a skill and build something. Oh, shout out to
This
Illegal
was
up here.
before the hip hop Illuminati ruined this type of music. As the what was it in Boondocks? They kind of show that this was the boardroom of BET essentially. That was like, we got to dumb it down. We got to dumb it down more.
Viacom. Yeah, it's VET is Viacom.
My old boss.
Viacom. Maybe it's not anymore, but every time someone said BET, I just like it's like, oh, you mean Viacom? I watch BET. Oh, you mean that publicly traded Nasdaq company? Yeah, that's very at CBS.
Oh, we're at 419 right now. So whoever the
Oh,
next
snap.
person that backs the Illuminati comic is going to be backer number 420. Just throwing it out there in case anyone wants
Oh, snap.
to,
Yeah,
to
so
claim that honor.
Paranoid American and I are doing these shows every single night, doing the big Kickstarter Illuminati comic. Thank you so much. We just got 419. Our goal is to get it past 420. Oh man, we're so close. Thank you so much. Let's feed the kitty cat.
Well, we got some names to read out. And tonight we're doing Illuminati mystic names. Are we ready?
Woo!
Are we ready for some shout
Yeah.
outs?
Yeah, shout out my
All right. So I'll say the name and then you can give them a hype shout out and then I'll name them so we can figure out a little pattern here. So the
All right.
first one is shout out to D-Ron.
D-Ron, whoop whoop. Thank you so much, D-Ron.
D-Ron, you're Aurelian. This is a name for celestial and esoteric themes. Then we got shout out to Maya Blount.
Maya, whoop whoop. Woo.
Your Illuminati nickname is Morwyn, who was the wise sage from Tolkien legends.
That's gangsta.
Shout out to Michael Chavez.
Michael Chavez. Yeah. What? Yo. What up? It's Michael Chavez.
You get to be Zerial. Shout out to, this is a dope name. I don't know if this is just a nickname, but Alabama Wyatt.
Alabama Wyatt. Thank you. Woo.
You get to be Hermes. Then we got Barry Smith.
Barry Smith. What up? Thank you.
You get to be Elephas. We got another Michael, just straight up Michael, got the digital deluxe edition.
Shout out to Michael.
You get to be Celine. We got Tracy Philhauer.
Tracy, thank you.
Orpheus. Then we got Elizabeth. We got Kevin. And we got Noah.
Kevin and Noah.
Shout out to Elizabeth, Kevin, and Noah for backing it. Thoth, Ishtar, and Teresa. And then we've got a few more that keep backing it.
Kevin and Noah, thank you.
Shout out to Denise Kozak.
Denise.
You're gonna be Rumi. Shout out to Lisa. We're gonna call you Simpson.
Lisa Simpson.
It just works.
That's good.
Shout out to Mary Pilgrim, another dope name.
Mary?
Mary Pilgrim.
Mary Pilgrim. Whoa.
And we're just gonna call you Pilgrim because that's such a dope name, anyways.
That was hard.
There's only gonna be one. Shout out to N355. I don't know. I don't know if you're supposed to pronounce that a certain way, but N355. You're gonna be Mechthold, who was another medieval mystic, and we got four more. We got Alanage. I think I'm pronouncing that right.
Thank you.
You're gonna be Hildegard, a German mystic. We got Jen. Shout out to Jen.
Jen,
you're gonna be known as Eastman. We got Hidden Scrolls with a Z.
Damn, my cat is getting big. Hidden Scrolls. Thank you for feeding my cat.
And then Aliana Maxwell. You're gonna be Seraphina.
Woo.
So thank you. These are all 419 original backers. We're waiting on whoever wants to be number 420. But man, this thing is
we just need one person to sign up to the Illuminati comic. The link's down below that we crushed through our goal. Just one of you. Only one person out of the 1,300 people watching. Just one person.
I think we got someone said refresh it. Let's see who gets to be number 420. All right, I don't see it yet. But I'm expecting it.
I don't see it. We need one person to sign up to pass through it, and we could give you a shout out. I think we should go back to it here in a moment because I want to know, Paranoid, about some more of the monkey stuff. Did we cover everything? Because I think I interrupted you with my sad violin of me being traumatized.
I mean, we were just talking trauma-based programming. I can pick it up or put it down anywhere. This is like my bread and butter.
Okay, maybe we'll go through a few of your tweets that you put out. Here's Paranoid American's thread. I got them links down below. Go subscribe. He's almost at that 16. Dang, 16,000. So right here, we covered that. Here's the whistleblower.
This was basically a complete breakdown of the whistleblower report for Alpha Genesis. So I'll give you some of the highlights from this thread that I posted, but it basically starts out talking about one of the more recent reports. All of the whistleblower reports basically happened between 2021 and 2022. So this was after they got their accreditation, after they got their rewards, and all of the like $110 million in funding. This is post all of that. So one of the themes that was developing as I was putting together this thread was, where do you think the $110 million in funding went? Because here's the reports they were talking about: moldy and missing food, weight loss, and all the monkeys. There was multiple instances where they were starving and had no food. There was instances of some of the monkeys meeting untimely demises because the cages were being held together with tape and chains and alligator clips instead of the things that you might expect from a $110 million facility. There was one instance, some of these are kind of sad, man. One instance was a tiny rhesus monkey got out of a cage, just like we had 43 of them escape, right? Well, in one of these instances, when they went to go and capture the escaped monkey, they used a giant ketamine dart. And apparently, not only was this dart filled with way more ketamine than the monkey could have handled, but when it hit the monkey, the dart was so big it shattered the monkey's arm, and the arm had to be amputated. None of
Oh,
none of this really seems like people that know what they're doing. There was another instance when a tail had to be amputated, and it took like more than a day for this to even be identified and then followed through. There were countless instances of monkeys getting into fights where monkeys were able to leave their cage and go into the cages of others, males and females combining. Yeah, this is the one that you're showing. Look at these are all monkey fights. Every one of these reports is a fight between two monkeys, and they just label the monkeys by number. So, for example, monkey number 1607119 got into a fight with monkey G870, right? That's how they sort of index all these. And again, this was only a small list that happened between 2021 and 2022. There was another example where one of the floors to the cages was not secured, so they could just sort of freely leave their cage and enter other ones. There was an instance where a punctured water line was spraying water, overflowing water into the
oh man,
cages
this is
for
getting
17 hours straight.
this is getting me sad, bro.
It's not great, and they keep going. There are so many different reports in this one whistleblower document that only spans about a year and a half, and there are so many freaking examples of this that, again, the question is what happened to the $110 million in funding? This is supposed to be one of the country's leading monkey laboratories, and it's kind of being run like a neglected Kmart. That's sort of the impression that I'm getting. And again, the whole reason that we're even talking about this was because 43 of them escaped for such a long time that they could no longer hide it, and it became national news because they didn't just catch them all within like a day or two. And everything that I've been reading so far over the last few days all seems to point that a worker, likely intentionally, this is me putting my interpretation on this, but it seems that in order to not lock 5 different gates and allow these particular monkeys to escape was done intentionally. And it was done intentionally because they knew that something that happened of this scale would cause, for example, congressional investigation. Unfortunately, that congressional investigation would have been spearheaded by this same lady that is now only making the news because of a trans bathroom bill. What a weird world that all of those topics are all related and actually happening right now in the real world. It's hard for me to even process.
Wow. Absolutely wild. Absolutely sad as well. And I guess I'll kind of move on to some more stuff because that stuff is
Yeah,
depressing, bro.
let's stop talking about the depressing monkey abuse and talk about something fun like World War III.
I'm gonna ban this guy first.
Oh,
Oh, yeah, that was tight. I let him go for a while, but he kept on spamming, so that was fun.
he was trying to expose our secrets.
He exposed the secrets. And he exposed the secrets. So the Economist magazine, I kind of want to touch on it a little bit more. We were talking about it last night. And right here, we were kind of covering how this is the solar flare. And this is actually one of the wild card scenarios that they got planned. So the wild card scenarios include a solar storm, includes ancient lost texts, and some I think it was Jacob Israel who was showing how this was like an ancient clay tablet, kind of, right? So
Jacob.
Jacob, and another global lockdown, which kind of goes into the monkey thing and whatever. But this is connected to the grid going out and the reset. So I don't know. Those are the wild cards. But the thing is I read these magazines and they said nothing about the war stuff going on now at all in their readings. But on the covers, they were showing that though. They didn't write about it, but they showed it on the symbolism. So
Well,
the
just
symbolism,
like the pigeons, man, it's the symbols that contain more information than the word. I mean, technically words are symbols as well. Literally, every character is a symbol, but when you can encode this amount of information visually, you would have to write probably 20 magazines to put all the information that they're putting in just one cover image.
man, yeah, it is wild. And I think I mean there's just so much more Illuminati news going on. I mean it's pretty wild with all this monkey stuff. So we're going to keep everybody updated because there's so much more to talk about. There's the Diddy stuff going on, Ellen DeGeneres leaving. I don't know, just a lot of strange stuff that we're gonna keep y'all posted on. But oh, it looks like we just passed for the 420.
Oh, and
Woo!
we got 421. Okay, yeah. So
421.
shout out to Nancy
Dang.
Triple O.
Nancy Triple O. That's
You're going to
amazing.
be Apollonius, which was a Neo-Pythagorean mystic.
Thank you, Nancy.
And then
We
shout out to Dirt Poor Ugly.
Dirt
I
poor
love that
ugly.
name. You're going to be Nyx, but also Dirt Poor Ugly. I just want to point this out. I see that you put in 25. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Although
thank you.
you didn't pick a reward tier, and I've seen this happen handful of times over the last couple of days, where someone will make a donation and not pick a reward tier, which is absolutely fine. You're welcome to do that, and we appreciate that. I just want to make sure that people aren't doing that on accident. So when you go and do this checkout, instead of just putting a number in, like if you want the $19 tier, if you want the $29 tier, whatever, you don't just put the number into the donate, because that'll just basically say, here's 29 bucks. If you actually want one of the rewards, the digital deluxe or the printed copy or any of these, just make sure you're actually selecting that reward, and it just goes through a normal checkout like you would normally expect through like an online website. So just FYI, if anyone mistakenly did that and they forgot to pick the reward, we'll follow up with you after the campaign's over. Paranoid American has a 100% track record for making sure everybody gets their books in the mail, undamaged, exactly as they ordered it, plus more. So if it gets lost or if there's a mistake anywhere in the process, rest assured, no problems. You're going to get everything that you want.
Yes, and go get that VIP VHS box combo. We're gonna be unlocking the secrets and showing the cover to it, and the Illuminati Yacht Club. Get the beach towel because we got some amazing art. Oh, and we also got fan art as well, just sent in. This goes hard.
Oh,
This
the
goes harder
Illuminati
than
penguin.
I want to get this tattooed on me. Thank you so much. This is sick. Look at that Illuminati penguin right here.
At 5 million, Donut's going to get this tattooed on him.
Yeah, if we raise 5 million, I'll get this tattooed on me. For real. For real. Access the secrets. Oh man, it is amazing. I'm really excited for this Illuminati comic. And there's more images I wanted to show as well.
Oh yeah, we can do a little bit of previews here.
Yeah. Oh, Man, there's another Knights of Malta or Knights Templar
Oh,
symbol
the
there.
lifesaver, the yacht club lifesaver is also.
Yeah, that's what I had pulled up. The Illuminati Yacht Club. I noticed that there's sort of a like this isn't the best one to showcase it, but the emergency text in Canada that just went down. Uh, it's a Templar Iron Cross right there. This is the Templar toroidal hole, and this is the Illuminati Yacht Club. It kind of got that, but that's funny that you noticed that too. Look how sick this is. So explain this for everybody.
So this was the first reveal from last night. You showed these two little clips of this huge, what we're calling the schizo splash. It's a giant Where's Waldo Illuminati image. So yeah, this image right here, these are the parts that we've shown so far, just to give an idea of scale of how big this whole piece is. And we got another one. I don't know if you've got it pulled up or not. I can send you a link to it in the private here, but we'll reveal a whole bottom right chunk of the schizo splash, and then every night we'll reveal a little bit more until we've got all of them, and then we'll start doing the same thing for the VHS cover.
Yeah.
So I sent you a link to the rest of the
Okay.
reveal for today.
Okay.
And we can look around a little bit, see what we can find in a Where's Waldo kind of style.
Let me pull this up real quick. Let me grab it.
So yeah,
Oh, cool.
it's an Illuminati themed Illuminati Yacht Club themed Where's Waldo style sort of huge poster image. And this is going to be the artwork that'll be on the beach towel. So there you go. There's a huge chunk out of the bottom right corner, and we'll start revealing it kind of bit by bit. But on this one, we've got a little Illuminati shush sign as the warning sign. We've got a Stephen Hawking making the little devil horns with his hands. We've got an Illuminati cow that's doing some scuba diving. We've got a nod to the surreal dinner ball and in little owl. There's a little Bohemian Grove reference in there.
It's really good. Look at
And
that Illuminati cow.
and also, I don't know if you noticed this, but we got Peanut up in this image.
Oh, I didn't notice it. There's Peanut. Rest in
Yep.
peace.
And you
First to
got the
come for this
Illuminati
world.
penguin.
Right there. He's just ready to go. I don't even want to say what he's ready to go do. He's ready to go do some vicious. He's about to have a vicious victory. I'm about to have a vicious victory.
So I love this, man. I grew up with Where's Waldo and like these hidden sort of object books.
You
So
look paranoid.
I'm really excited.
You look paranoid. This is how I look usually throughout the day. The artist Swap Trap, he did a fantastic job capturing my eyes. This is
And you got you're right in front of Trump too. You can see his ear leaking all over.
Yeah, that's me right there with my donut shirt.
You're looking like, uh-oh, it's about to get crazy up in here.
Me when
it?
I walk around, bro. I'm always freaked out, bro. I'm always like, oh my god, they're after me. You just captured my eyes perfectly. You see the Sampaku that I got all around. You don't want to trust this guy. He looked crazy. He got the crazy Sampaku.
That's that 360 Senpaku. All sides are Senpaku.
That's the scary ones. And I've documented a lot of influencers on the world stage that got these big time. Big time. Yes, Sampaku Illuminati Penguin. So go click that link below. Let's get us past that 27,000 mark by the end of today, the end of the show.
It's literally one person. Like the next person that gets any of the printed copies will put us over that limit.
So yeah, click the link below. Go back the project. Really, really appreciate it. Thank you everybody for tuning in. I love y'all. I love you, Paranoid American. You
love you guys.
Handsome beast.
Love the chat. Even the ones that get kicked out. I always say that I'm not even joking about this, but the biggest haters usually end up becoming the biggest fans. So we look forward to your redemption arcs when all the people that get kicked out and banned eventually come back years later, and you're like, damn, okay, this stuff is dope. I'm sorry.
Yeah, we go hard in the paint with it. Yeah. Well, much love, everybody.
And God bless.
God bless you. Yeah. Yo, what up? It's Donut, and you tuning in to all your Illuminati news. Get your copy of the Illuminati comic. IlluminatiComic.com. You know you want it. Get early bird access to massive discounts and exclusive gifts. Dropping worldwide. Learn the secrets of the Illuminati. Access the secrets. Join the Illuminati Yacht Club. Get the Donut VHS box and join the street team. Click the link below. Limited time only.
Secrets?
Donut. Yo, what up?
The secrets. Get a secret in there. Get us a secret. Secrets? Secrets?
Yo, what up? It's Donut. The Illuminati comic dropped worldwide. Get your Illuminati comic today about the Bavarian Illuminati exposing the infamous secret society. It's a chit track Illuminati comic. Make sure to go back this project. We were fully funded in 3 minutes.
Learn about the full history of the Bavarian Illuminati. Adam Weishaupt, Alumbrados, Jesuits, Rosicrucians, Freemasons, and more.
We got early bird access today only. If you subscribe today, you get a massive discount anywhere in the world. The digital deluxe tier. Get the digital copy plus an add-on private video presentation. Get the black and white chit track Illuminati comic, or get it in color. I mean, I would get it in color because this is banging. Learn all the secrets. And the Donut VHS box. Get the early bird special. This ends today. These sell out so quickly. Very, very popular. And it's the first time ever we're doing them worldwide with the Illuminati comic. Massive discounts today only. Click that link below. The Illuminati street team. Become part of the street team. Get a bunch of these comics and slang them. You can make a bunch of money. You can make your money back and profit. If you got a store, you can sell them out of your store or just hand them out, leave them at the library. Join the Illuminati street team. Or if you a big baller like that and you want to be part of the Illuminati Yacht Club, that's for the big ballers right there who want to join the Illuminati Yacht Club. I mean, that's that official, like a referee whistle pledge right there. So click that link below. This is the Illuminati comic. Sign up right now. Reserve your spot. Much love, and God bless you.
That's right, it's the Illuminati comic from Donut and Paranoid American. Get yours now at IlluminatiComic.com.